All right. Hello, everybody. Tim Lawson here from The Better Life. Am I even recording from the right microphone? I should probably check that. I am not. Let's switch that.
There we go. Microphone's better. All right. That's what I'm a little under the weather, but I wanted to get this off. I didn't do one of these last week because I was in Biloxi, Mississippi with my friends, gambling and whatnot. And so back for another video on betting the USL here on an April weekend. It's a nice full slate for the weekend and some good games coming up. Yesterday, I thought I was only really going to have two or three plays, and then I wake up this morning and find some more opportunity. And so here we are. This is going to be a little bit clunky because I've been a little sick. I did not really get a chance to prepare this as well as I'd want to. But here we go. Let's change the. There we go. I'm going to use DraftKings as sort of my reference as we go along as I need it. But let's start with the first game of the day. Tulsa hosting Pittsburgh. This is going to be a really good game, and this game opened with Tulsa as a slight favorite, which I actually thought was fine. This game is really evenly matched, in my opinion, with Pittsburgh probably being slightly more quality. I think by the end of the year, we'll see that Pittsburgh was the better team between these two. But as they stand right now, Tulsa has really shown some flashes of brilliance, and Pittsburgh is still, I mean, their coach is still, I think, finding that right starting 11. And so who knows, I haven't seen a lineup, of course, but I took Pittsburgh plus 110 on the draw no bet. Some of you asked on Twitter, what is it, what is a draw no bet? Essentially, that means that if the game ends in a draw, it's no action. It's no bet. Your bet pushes. And so, being that I think this is really evenly matched, I actually went into this anticipating to take the underdog on the draw no bet, whichever way that would go. It just happened that when it opened, Pittsburgh was the dog here. They're a solid team. They're going into Tulsa, and it's moved around the other way now. I see. Let's see here. Spreads, Asian handicap. Okay, you can see how it's gotten to Tulsa plus one. So I'm probably not going to take Tulsa on the other side, but one can make the case that if you have Pittsburgh draw no bet like I do here at plus money, that you could find Tulsa at maybe if you want to try to find Tulsa at draw no bet and get a nice little free roll arb going on. Now, if it lands draw, both bets would push, and then you wouldn't win anything, which is fine, right? But I'm probably just going to stick with Pittsburgh. I'm definitely going to be watching this game, so I might take an in-game opportunity if there is. But if you already have this and you want to just limit your liability and get a nice free roll for plus money on both sides, Tulsa plus. I don't think the draw no bet's probably not at plus money quite yet. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find. I'm not going to remember where where it is. Oh, here we go. Draw no bet. Yeah, so draw no bet still plus, minus 105 here at DraftKings. You might be able to find. I wouldn't take it as soon as it hits plus money if you're looking for that arb situation. I would wait to see if it gets up to plus 110 as well. So that way, you're not just getting pennies so much, and not that it's a big payout even at plus 110 if you arb it like that, but it could be a nice way to limit your life. At the same time, if you don't have a bet on this game already and you want action on it, if Tulsa gets to draw no bet at plus money, I think that's a good bet too, because I was expecting to take either team at plus money on the draw no bet because this is a pretty evenly matched game. Tulsa plays good at home. They're going to show some flashes of brilliance like they have. Pittsburgh's going to try to control the game. Dane Kelly, of course, is going to be the game changer. I will say, if Kelly doesn't start and Tulsa goes up 1, when Kelly enters the game, as soon as you see a signal that Kelly might be coming into the game, if he does in fact doesn't start, I would take Pittsburgh on the live line then, because he is a game changer. He gets the ball and he finds ways to score. I mean, that's all he's done in the USL is find ways to score. So that is a in-game angle that I'll be trying to play. Okay, let's move on to the next game. Again, that's early. That's a 2 o'clock Eastern game, so pretty excited about that. Las Vegas Lights hosting Colorado Switchbacks. Everything about this line was fair to me. It's bounced back and forth between Colorado being a favorite by half a goal, Colorado being favored by 0.75 on the Asian line. I just think that's fine. I know some people probably snagged Las Vegas on the Asian line. I mean, this seems like Colorado wins by 1 to me. Colorado also could win by 3. Las Vegas could, keep this at a draw. There's just so much could happen here with Trejo being for Vegas being the leading scorer in the league. Colorado Springs being what a lot of people consider the best team in the league right now, as they've won all their games. So there's a lot of uncertainty here in how these two teams will truly match up, especially since it's in Vegas. I guess I would lean Vegas on the goal line, but I would just hate for Vegas to be down 1 early and the magic of Colorado either just not letting them get back, and so like you're losing half that bet anyways, or Colorado gets one by. There's just I see so many game states in this one. The line came out 3. That's exactly what my fare was. So no action here. What's next here on the we got Tampa Bay Rowdies versus Miami FC. Miami has just looked so lackluster in this season. A team that I was on the Houndsy podcast before the season started, and I said that Miami could end up being better than we even think they might be, and boy was I wrong. At least through a handful of games into the season. They should be able to turn it around. I mean, they have one of the most exciting strikers in the league in Murphy. They just need to get him going. That team needs to meld. And then, like, the Rowdies still really haven't found themselves, I think, with who they are after they've lost a handful of players after, just constant stellar after stellar season or season after season of just being a stellar team. I don't trust either team enough to cover this. If Miami had shown even just a little bit more competitiveness during the season, the value would be on Miami. But I can see this being 2-0 Rowdies. I can see this being a 1-1 draw. Like and there's too many game states here for me to really want to get involved. I think I had my fare a little bit higher, like a juicy over 2.5 on the goal line. It's at 2.5 pretty even. I think that's. I'm not jumping at that. The only I did not. Well, I took a little piece of this, but I'm not like making it a this is what I played sort of announcement. But I do have a little bit in the account on 9-1 for there to be no goal in this match. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. It is a 9-1 price, so implied probability tells you it's not going to happen in 8, 9, 10 games. But I think that I think there's a chance that the Rowdies, who couldn't get it done against Oakland, and Miami, who's struggling to get it done against most teams right now, I could see this game being scoreless. So if you were one to try to get action on this, I wouldn't take it much lower than 9-1 because, like I said, Miami does have Kyle Murphy. He's got to get going sooner or later. Who knows when that is? And the Rowdies are just a solid team. But I think at 9-1, I thought the Rowdies, the Rowdies Miami no goal scored, so a 0-0. So it either a 0-0 exacta score line or a no goal, however you want to find that. But 9-1, I think, would be, put peanuts on it if you want a little bit of action in that game. Moving on, Atlanta United hosting Detroit. This, in my opinion, was the most atrocious line to come out in this weekend's, and I pounded it as much as I could without overexposing myself. I still may be a little overexposed, but goodness, you just don't. I mean, so this opened. I got as high as Detroit plus 220 on the 3-way money line. Of course, in soccer, you see 3-way money lines where you have team A, team B, and then a draw. And Atlanta United's not good. Detroit's kind of good. And Atlanta came out as a favorite here. It's not bettable anymore, in my opinion, as Detroit is now the slight favorite on that three-way money line at plus 155. You can find them at plus 165 still. I wouldn't shake my finger at you if you were still playing them there because I just think they're the better team. And Atlanta United, not only are they not good, but like they're not good, and it's actually not that close in a lot of ways. When it comes to expected goals against, so how many expected goals are being put up against them, I have them at 1.9 overall. And again, that's just through a handful of games, but the next team is Vegas at 1.27. I mean, like it's not even close. And not that Detroit is just going to unload on them, and this is in Atlanta, but it just the idea that Detroit is an underdog was just absurd. It's probably closer to even now. If the line here's what's funny. If this was the opener, I would probably still take Detroit. And so I'm hesitant on saying, hey, yeah, take Detroit here because I got much better lines. I hit it at 220, I hit it at 190. I even took a little piece at 185. And then of course I took the goal line at a quarter, and you could play pick 'em. I haven't played pick 'em, but it is a pick 'em line essentially now in the Asian market, and I think that's an okay bet too. Look, don't pull out a second mortgage to bet this, but it had to have been the most offline of the weekend, and I mean it's moved, and sometimes I don't agree with all the line movements. This one I could see coming from a mile away. I barely got the plus 220. Like the second I bet it, it moved down to plus 185 where I bet it. So it's yeah, that you can't find these money lines anymore. It's plus 165 at best where I see it around. Again, I wouldn't shake my finger at you if I saw you bet this, but just know that if Atlanta pulls out a draw here, that's not winning. I'm okay with that at the numbers that I got because it's a positive VV play. You make this bet 1,000 times, you're gonna come out ahead. I promise you. Game to game, variance is variance, but I think Detroit City is the better team, and I think they come away with the win against Atlanta United, who, look, Atlanta could surprise people with like an early goal or something like that, but that expected goal against, and Detroit City ran with Pittsburgh really well, I thought, and Pittsburgh's one of the best teams in the league. So it is what it is. I took Detroit. Unfortunately, a lot of that value has gone, but that's where I am. Moving on to Rio Grande Valley versus Indy 11. Talk about a game that I could not be less interested in as a bettor or as a fan. But I did take the both teams to score, yes, minus 120. What's really tough about taking two teams that aren't that good is you have to if you want to bet it, you have to distinguish between, do I think these teams are not good and therefore can score on each other? Or do I think these teams are not good and therefore aren't going to be able to score? And it's really tough it's a thin line that separates those two realities. And of course, that doesn't mean that that it's either both teams will score or neither team will score, right? But I I think that Indy's coach is still trying to get that system going. I think that he's good enough to continue to get that team to continue. So I don't want to back Indy because I don't believe in them, but I do want to believe in his process, which means I think if they are going to continue to get better incrementally, it means that they're going to be able to find opportunities, and RGV is probably not good enough to stop every one of those opportunities. And then the same way, Indy just they're still learning, right? They're still trying to figure out that system, get it going. I think that they're going to be a bottom half team probably for the entirety of this season. We may not see Lowry's stuff get going until next season, where this team's actually good. But at minus 120, I would not play it north of this. I've seen it already move up to minus 125 in some places. You may be able to find a minus 120 still. You may just sort of sit around and refresh lines, and maybe it moves because people get on the other side. But I would not take much worse, or I wouldn't take it any higher than minus 120. But at minus 120, I do like the both teams to score. Yes, I can see both of these teams finding a goal. I probably think that this game is closer to even than the line shows. But again, I don't believe in either one of these teams enough to want to back them. And the total is at 2.5. It's probably slightly low, but again, I don't like these teams enough to want to put much stake in them other than the both teams to score. That's the angle I have on this game. Oh, goodness. I need to hurry up because the congestion's starting to get to me again. We are moving down to El Paso against Monterey Bay. Monterey Bay is still sight unseen, in my opinion. They scored 2 against Phoenix in their opener, which even in a 4-2 loss, I thought was pretty impressive. They are middle of the road on expected goals against, which I think is something that may surprise a lot of people in that they're doing a pretty decent job of keeping people away, even though they are, they've lost 3 and won 1 on the season. They lost one. They only lost 1-0 to Colorado Springs, which I think is pretty significant. They lost 2-1 to Sacramento, which I think is actually pretty good, right? They got one by on Sacramento. They kept that a 1-goal game. They won 3-2 against Oakland. I don't think like El Paso, as someone who I respect, also been in the USL, said El Paso can't be winless forever, which is true. But I can't. Will they be winless forever? No. But when will they actually turn the corner and get a win? And I think, like, could they do it against Monterey? Sure. The line tells us they can. -110 on a 3-way is actually a pretty good favorite. I have not taken a piece of this, but I would not be surprised if Monterey Bay kept this. If this being in El Paso, I think is what makes me, Monterey Bay has a pretty decent travel to get down or get over to El Paso. I guess it's not too far, but don't trust this line enough to really want to take it. If I were to, I missed probably a better line that I could have gotten on Monterey Bay, but it's the total's 3. I think that's fair. Good luck to everybody who bets this game or the Rio Indy game and other ways that I've skipped. So yeah, moving on. OC versus San Antonio. This was San Antonio was a slight favorite when it opened. I know a lot of people took OC. I skipped it. San Antonio has injuries and they're still trying to figure that out. Oklahoma, goodness. Orange County is they're not great. They've been very lackluster. My metrics have them last in expected goals on offense overall. And San Antonio, even with their injuries, have done twice as good. They only have 0.6 expected goals per game, but that's almost twice as good as Orange County. Look, when what was his name? Damus, when he left Orange County, I told myself I was gonna watch Orange County for a while before I really got involved in games with them because he was really a difference maker there. And I think Orange County is doing fine without him. Like, and what I mean by fine is I think maybe a little better than we could have expected. But I mean they have the most mediocre of standings right now, right? They won 1 against a not good Rio Grande Valley. Goodness, I need to get this done before the congestion gets to me. They lost 2-1 against Orange County or against Colorado Springs, which okay, that's fine. Most teams are going to lose to Colorado this year, and then they get a 1-1 draw against New Mexico with a super late goal to get that draw. That was a very impressive draw. What are they going to do against San Antonio? What is San Antonio going to do trying to fight through these injuries? I don't know. But it has moved to where Orange County is now the favorite. You can get San Antonio at draw no bet at plus 120 in some places. You can get them at plus 0.25 on the Asian line. That's the way that I would lean. I took a little piece of San Antonio, but when I say little, I mean like it was just broke my threshold on making a bet. But good luck to anybody who's betting this game. This game will tell us a lot. I think if Orange County comes away with a win here, I think that tells us that they're more solid of a team than maybe the early season metrics are telling us. And if San Antonio can keep this at a draw, I think that'll be just as impressive. Showing, I mean, look, they've lost what? They've lost one game, is that right? With against Phoenix. So this, I thought it was fair when it came out. San Antonio as the slight favorite. I didn't bet it. I thought it was fair all the ways around. But oh well. Good luck to everybody who's betting that game. San Diego hosting Charleston. This is the biggest position that I have on the game. Did I put it in the? I have not put it in here. It is San Diego, Charleston over 2.5. I got it at minus 120. Look, this let's see. Let me make sure that that's what it is. Spread. Oh goodness, no spread total. Asian totals. Okay, so it's moved just slightly. Let me look at one of these other books off the screen. I still see minus 120 on the over at an offshore. If that's something you do, shop around, find these lines. Look, Charleston's not good. San Diego is, and San Diego has a pretty strong offense. I just don't look. Charleston conceded a red card, and then they gave up 4 to Atlanta. And like, yeah, when you concede a red card, you're expecting to take a little bit more on, on your own goal. You shouldn't be giving up 4. Like, that's a sign of a bad team, that the second you're down a man, you just like give up an unreasonable amount of goals against a team who isn't that good. Charleston has won 1 game. It was against Tulsa. They got an early goal, and then Tulsa conceded a red card, and Charleston was able to hold on. But Tulsa was still putting together an offense in that game. Then Charleston goes into Detroit and loses 1-0. They go into Atlanta. They lose 4-1. They host Las Vegas, and they get an early goal, but Las Vegas rallies with Trejo, the stud that he is. I just don't think in all of those, I should say, all of those games have, shown, and I can't, I'm surprised that I've actually watched most of those games. It has shown that Charleston, they can create an offense. They just can't create wins, right? Like, they can't hold on to a win. And then you have San Diego, a 3-2 win over El Paso, a 3-2 win over Phoenix. They lost 1-0 against a good Tulsa team, and then a 2-0 win against a good Sacramento team, and then a 2-1 win to open a season against LA, who has shooters. LA has people who can score goals. So I don't know. San Diego is for a long time, San Diego has been an over and both teams to score darling. And what's funny is you can actually get both around the same price right now. You can get over 2.5 and both teams to score. Yes, both at minus 120. I am deciding to take the over 2.5 rather than the both teams to score, simply because I believe in San Diego more than I believe in Charleston. But I mean, you could really go either way on this one. But if San Diego puts up 3 and it's like the 75th minute and they're up 3-0, it's going to feel a certain way. But at the same time, when it's 1-1 in the 75th minute, that's also going to feel a certain way if you took the total instead. So take your preference on that, because they're both, I think they're both just as likely, and they're both priced the same. I went with the over 2.5 because that's the way that I'm leaning. But I would not shake my finger at you if you went with the both teams to score. But that is my largest position on the day. I feel more and more snot coming to the front of my face. Okay, real quick, Phoenix and LA Galaxy. Like I mentioned, LA Galaxy has shooters, especially with Judd, Preston Judd. Phoenix has not proven that they can really stop teams with shooters. They've been able to do against teams that have a sort of a less potent offense, but until they prove that they can really slow down teams that have legitimate shooters, I will be taking the goal line against them. That anything that's over a full goal. LA Galaxy has been keeping games close. They've shown that they can do plenty. So I took the plus 1.25 here on the Asian line. If it's just at 1, I would not take that. Like, again, this is built into the fact that they're going to be able to keep it a 1-goal game. And so I'm expecting for part of that part of this bet to push and then to cash the other half of it. But that's the side that that's the way that I've taken this LA game. It opened at 3.25 on the total, which was actually what I had my fair as. It was the first game of the season where my fair was over 3 on a total, and that's actually where it went. So that's actually a good signal to me that my read on these totals are pretty good. Moving into Sunday, we have Loudoun versus Louisville City. I slept on this total. You could get plus money at over 2.5 yesterday, and I don't know. I was busy. I was distracted. I decided to not bet it the second I saw it, and of course now I sort of regret that. The way that it's moved now on the total, let's see if that is the total there. Yeah, I mean I think that's fair. I think we could see 3. I would like 2.5 to 3. I mean the fair on this is 2.75. There's not enough value here now to take this, in my opinion. But I do think that the Asian line is starting to creep a little bit too much towards. If this gets to 1, I'm probably taking Loudoun just because Loudoun still looks like they're taking games serious and trying to do well versus just develop players. Like it looks like they're both trying to develop players and do so by winning games. And I wouldn't take them under a goal, but at a full goal, I think I have to take a piece of Loudoun. But until it gets there, no play for me on that game. And then Birmingham, Hartford. I think this is fair. Birmingham should be the favorite that they are. We don't know much about Hartford. I had 2.75 on the total. It's exactly where it is, so no play there for me. And that's it. Those are my plays. Pittsburgh, draw no bets. Detroit's on lines that are no longer available, but I would not shake my finger if you took the plus 165 that's still out there in some places. Don't take it much beyond that. But LA Galaxy plus 1.25, Charleston over 2.5, and then the draw no bet, or I'm sorry, the both teams to score, yes, minus 120. Good luck with all your bets. It's going to be a good day. What's fun is a lot of teams now after this weekend, a lot of teams will have 5 or 6 matches under their belt, which finally gives us form. And form is a big part of my handicapping. So it'll be good that a lot of these teams have this. A lot of teams are playing just in a small 5-game sample size, 5-6 for a lot of these teams. A lot of teams have played sort of a range of quality of teams too, which is great because it gives you a lot of information in different scenarios. So yesterday I thought it was going to be a low volume day. It is still kind of low volume-ish as things are moving. But as I was telling another handicapper in this space earlier today over Twitter, openers, of course, provide a lot of value because lines open off, right? The Detroit game is a great example. But line movements in this league to me are just as valuable because lines move in directions I just don't agree with. And I feel like if you pay attention enough to these lower tier leagues, in the NFL, the NBA, these big leagues, if the line moves against you, you should worry, right? Because there's people with a lot more money and a lot more information that are probably betting into this, right? So typically a line movement away from the way you feel about a game is reason for pause. But in these lower tier soccer leagues, the USL is a great example, and one of the reasons why it's one of my favorites. There's a lot of reasons why lines can move. Misinformation, purely off reputation, a lot of reasons because it doesn't take a lot for these lines to move. And I can feel confident that I disagree with the line move and take advantage of it and cash tickets on that. So that's one of the reasons why I love the USL is the openers are very bettable. Line moves create more opportunity. All right, good luck with all your bets. We'll be back next week and do this again. Bye.